What's up, y'all, and welcome back to some more rSlash Real Talk Stories with your boy RT and my dude Dale. You guys, today we're going to dive into some real talk and the a-hole stories. Our first story today is centered around two siblings, ladies and gentlemen. So without any further ado, let's dive into it, Dale.
My brother Tom, male 36, and I, female 26, have never had a really solid relationship due to our age gap. We didn't spend much time together, and by the time I was old enough to develop a personality, he was moved out of the house. For the last 2 years, my brother and his fiancée Sarah, female 32, have been planning their wedding, and it's coming up in September. I was asked to be a bridesmaid. I figured I was only asked as a courtesy since I'm her soon-to-be sister-in-law, but I still took it seriously. I have been a bridesmaid for the last 2 years. Just a few weeks ago, I managed to save up to buy the $800 bridesmaid dress. Overall, in the last 2 years, between group outings to parties, dinners, lunches, clothes, etc., I spent thousands of dollars. Eventually, all the girls in the wedding and I became extremely close, and I started to get hyped for the wedding. Sarah recently got close with her brother's wife, Becky, female 30. Last week, she dropped the ball on me that she no longer wants me to be a bridesmaid, and she would prefer if Becky would take my place. It broke my heart a little, but it's her wedding, and it's not my place to tell her how to run it, so I said it was fine. Yesterday, I went to my brother's house to pick up the bridesmaid's dress and was going to see if I could return it since it was within the time frame. Sarah was completely appalled and said that Becky was going to wear it since she and I are the same size. I said that would be fine, but they would have to pay me the $800 for it. Sarah said that Becky couldn't afford, and I should just be nice and let her use it, and said that I could keep it after the wedding. I explained that I'm not just giving away the dress, and I'm not even going to use it after the wedding. After some bickering back and forth, I just ended up taking it and leaving. My brother and Sarah tried to compromise with me and say I could be the assistant flower girl, and I felt offended at the offer. After I said no, they then said that Becky could give me $250 for it. Again, I said no, and I returned the dress and got a full refund. I told them I understand that it's their wedding, but they are being extremely disrespectful to me, and I don't need to deal with it, and I'm not going to the wedding. Today, my coworker says she has an extra round-trip plane ticket to go to Miami that she'll sell to me for half price. Plus, I would have to pay for half the hotel, and I can go hang out with her in Florida. The only downside is that I'll be in Florida for the week of my brother's wedding. So will I be the a-hole if I just go party in Miami instead of going to my brother's wedding?
So I'm just going to dive right into this one because in my eyes, it is blatantly obvious that OP is not the a-hole in this particular situation. So I am one of the last two of 10. Me and my twin brother, we are the last two of 10 siblings. So between me and my twin brother and our oldest sister, there is a very large age group, even larger than OP and OP's brother. OP and OP's brother are not very close, but me and my siblings are all extremely close. All of my siblings' significant others, I don't have one quite yet, but all of their significant others understand that we are all very close as siblings. But you know what, even if we weren't, I think that it's important that we all have a certain level, a base level, just bare minimum base level of respect for one another. And I don't think that OP's brother or OP's brother's fiance showed OP an ounce of respect with this. Now, in the beginning, it seemed like it because OP's brother and the soon-to-be sister-in-law invited OP to become a bridesmaid. So that's great. That's good and all. You know, it's a way to kind of help them to develop a relationship that was not there all of those years. However, to turn around and do what she did and opting out of allowing OP to be the bridesmaid and going for somebody else, I think that was a little shady. I think that OP stood up for herself. I think that was great. I think that it's a situation where to be offered an assistant flower girl's position as opposed to a bridesmaid's position is a bit of a slap in the face. So I would have been insulted if I'm completely honest. You know what? One of the commenters in this particular thread said it best. Go to Miami. A wedding is not an event where a soon-to-be sister-in-law and your own brother get to crap all over you and smile while you take it. So OP, you are not the a-hole in my book. In all honesty, I don't even think that you should have to give them a gift because you've declined to even go to the wedding. Matter of fact, I think the only appropriate level of etiquette that is necessary in this is just a simple congratulatory card. Maybe not even that. Maybe even just a text message or a phone call. OP, you're not the a-hole. Next story.
I, male 29, have a brother, male 27, who has a 4-year-old daughter. His daughter's mom passed away because of birth complications, and he's been raising her mostly alone ever since. Recently, he asked me if I could babysit her for the night so he could go on a date, but I refused because I'm not experienced with kids and frankly, because I simply don't want to babysit. My brother kept insisting, saying that he's too tight with money to pay for a babysitter, but I kept refusing to do it. However, one day at around 7 p.m., I suddenly hear a girl knocking at my door, and there was my niece while my brother was nowhere to be found. I let her in the house. My mom and then I started calling my brother multiple times, but he wouldn't pick up any of my calls. After a half an hour, I ended up sending him a message that if he doesn't come back in 15 minutes, then I'll report him to the police for child abandonment. He came back after 20 minutes, but luckily for him, I didn't call the police yet. He was absolutely furious with me and started berating me literally in front of his daughter, but I eventually made him leave my house with my niece. However, afterwards he kept sending me messages about how I failed as both a brother and an uncle, that I proved to my niece that I don't love her, and that I see her as a burden, and that I couldn't even allow him this night of fun when he hadn't had passionate hugging since his daughter was born. But I messaged him that this is his problem, not mine, and so he needed to figure it out on his own instead of pining me against my will. However, this only got him to send even more venomous messages. My boyfriend, however, thinks that I'm acting like an a-hole towards him and that I and my mom could have taken care of my niece for this night without creating a scene. Am I the a-hole for not having much sympathy for my brother's situation and not wanting to babysit his daughter?
So I'm going to throw out a couple of scenarios real quick. So let's say that OP was not home. Then what happens with the daughter, the 4-year-old that was just standing and knocking at the door? Let's say that OP was walking around the neighborhood and it might not have been a great neighborhood. What happens then with the 4-year-old? What if OP was home, but OP was inebriated or drunk or just incoherent for whatever reason? That would have also not put this 4-year-old in a very good situation. I think as a parent, if you can't afford to do certain things, if you don't have the money or the time to be entertaining other people, then obviously that means you are struggling to take care of your child. So where are your priorities? I don't think that OP is the a-hole, not one bit. Matter of fact, I think that OP's brother is a bit of an a-hole, especially for getting upset and berating OP in the way in which he did. I think that it's a situation where OP was very honest about his ability to take care of a 4-year-old. Maybe he could be a little bit more open and say, hey, I'm willing to learn. Maybe you can assist me. Maybe you can work with me. Maybe it's a situation where you can kind of walk me through the process and how it works. But I think it's a situation where OP did what OP thought was best in just being straightforward, blunt, open, and honest. And I think the brother is definitely the a-hole in this particular situation. I just don't think that was well handled at all. You know what? If it's a situation where the brother wants relations, then he needs to save up some money over a span of a period of time so that he can hire a babysitter so that he can go out and he can have some passionate hugging with somebody since it's been so long. But I don't think that that's an appropriate excuse to leave your 4-year-old daughter just standing at your brother's house, especially when you know your brother is not all about babysitting at all. OP, you are not the a-hole in my book.
Leah has always been one of those people who always wants to be in the spotlight. This never bothered me as I am quite an introverted person. Anyways, skipping to my birthday. We have been planning this party for a long time as I have been really depressed for the past couple of years, and this was my first big gathering with all my friends and family who were also there to support my recovery. I was sending out the invites and was really excited. We were ordering in pizzas and KFC, which are my 2 absolute favorites. Anyways, I tell everyone in the group chat that we will be ordering this and everyone is excited. But then Leah messages and says she can't have that because she is vegan. She then went on to say it was disrespectful that I wasn't being inclusive to everyone. In a private message, she started going on about how it was really rude of me to not have asked before organizing food and that I was discriminating against for her being a vegan. So I got really stressed and didn't know what to do. I then said I would order her some food separately from a vegan place and that I would pay, and she went quiet. The day before the party, I got a message in the group from her saying, "Everyone, I can't wait to catch up with you all this weekend. I have some exciting news of my own I would like to share." Confused about this, I messaged her personally and asked what this was about, as I didn't quite understand as to why she had to announce it on my birthday. It also pissed me off how she was texting the group chat as if she was the one who was organizing the party. We have quite a lot of mutual friends, but at the end of the day, it was my group chat, and she was treating it like it was some mass gathering for her. Leah said she was planning on telling everyone about her pregnancy. I was shocked. Not only did I feel like she was purposefully trying to ruin my birthday, but I was even more hurt she didn't even ask me first. After all, it was my birthday party. I told her I did not want her to announce it on my birthday and that I found it really rude of her to not have asked me first. She then went off at me and started complaining about how this was her only opportunity to do it, as everyone would be there, and the timing was so perfect, and that I had ruined her plan, and that I am a selfish and bad friend for not being happy for her. She then said she can do whatever the F she wants, and I can't stop her from announcing it. I was so stressed that I sent her a text uninviting her to my party and then blocked her. All day I got calls and texts from her family saying I was selfish and rude, and that I was narcissistic, and that I was a bad friend. They all basically called me an a-hole for uninviting her, and for being really mean to her too. All these texts made me feel really guilty and like an a-hole, so here I am, Reddit. Am I the a-hole here?
You know, I think it's extremely rude for people to turn around and take an event that's not about them and use it as an opportunity to showcase a very special announcement and make the event about them. I think the fact that your friend was trying to take your celebration and make it about her pregnancy is, number one, very selfish, and number two, just straight disrespectful. I wouldn't even consider her to be a friend after this particular incident and experience with her, to be honest with you. The fact that you uninvited her, I think that that was well done. I think that was appropriate for the situation, because who knows what kind of backlash you would have gotten if you allowed her to show up. The kind of drama that could have spiraled from that particular event could have been detrimental in greater ways. You've overcome a season of depression. That is great. That is worthy of being celebrated. You are in a new chapter of life, and I think taking all of that toxicity out of your life is important, and you did that when you told her she could not come to your event. So OP, I do not think that you are the a-hole, not one bit. Matter of fact, your pregnant friend, congratulations to her, but she is 110% the a-hole in this particular situation. You know, in reading through some of the comments here in this particular Reddit thread, I think one response to the situation, other than your response, this particular response is another good way that you could have handled the situation, and it might have ended up being a little bit more entertaining in a positive way for you than what it is that you actually did. This one Redditor commented and said, you know, you should have gone ahead and responded in the group chat and said, "Oh, is this about your pregnancy? I'd prefer if you did not use my event for your announcement. Maybe you can just set up a lunch with friends for you to announce it." Maybe. And then after you press send, you go ahead, grab your popcorn, grab your tea, sip on that tea, and just enjoy that popcorn as everything plays out and all the drama ensues after this particular text message was sent. That's just one thing that I noticed. I thought that was absolutely hilarious and quite unique to this particular situation. I probably would have done something similar to that. But either way, OP, I do not think that you are the a-hole for what it is that you did. You stood up for yourself, and you know what? Nobody can ask for anything more than that. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video and all of our Reddit stories. I want to know, would you have handled this last story in the same way that OP did? Would you have disinvited your friend, or would you have turned around and allowed her to come, and for the sake of the friendship, you would have just allowed her to make this announcement about her and turn this entire event from being about you to being about her? Go down into the comment section and let me know what you guys would have done in this particular situation, and let me know if you think that OP is the a-hole or not. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and if you have, please take a moment and consider subscribing to the channel, like this video for the YouTube algorithm, and then turn around and click the bell notification icon. That way you will be notified every time we drop some real talk stories here on this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, many blessings and much love to y'all.